Hill in person. I met Matt R. I met Jack. I met so many people in person. It's amazing. It's so exciting. It's amazing because, I spent so much time with you guys, not just on the mic, but on Slack all the times. I see you guys all the times. It's like your family. And then I get to put a face. I met Matt. Oh, okay, there we go. And I get to put a face to your names. How amazing is that? Yay! When's that store rubbing it? Well, you know what? When I was really surprised that nobody wanted to go gambling. Nobody wanted to teach me how to go gamble. So that was really surprising, but Jeremy gets in today and hopefully he will be a little bit more encouraging and will take us all gambling. Let's do it. Wynn says next year I'll be there. Let's do it. Honestly, this options retreat was amazing. I mean, I learned a few things and I thought I knew it all, but then I get to feel that. I mean, I tend to feel that way a lot. So yes, no, it definitely humbled me down. It taught me a few things. That was awesome. It just, RT3 was in there. Tony Pollock did a session yesterday of day trading options. It was pretty cool. So definitely try to make yourself, or see if you can attend one of the options retreat. I definitely recommend that for sure. All right, let's get today started. Qs, SPY, flat. Just nothing going on. Although I feel like it is one of those, we're at that standstill where we really need to pick, this gap up yesterday shouldn't have ended like this. I would have loved it if it ended like a hammer and then, we trapped some bulls and rolled over. I mean, ultimately I still want to go bearish. That's not even out of question, but the fact that we gapped up and then we just kind of didn't hold that gap, I do think there's weakness. We are getting rejected, well, close to the 10 EMA. So we are getting rejected over there. There is weakness out there on the waters. Let's just put fibs and see what we can come up with. All right. Okay. What I'm going to do is reverse the fibs because I want to see how low it can go. So I'm going to reverse them. And depending on the fibs, where exactly are we opening? In my opinion, I think we should hold the 618 and the 786. So if we can hold these two levels, and get closes above 398.50 and then continue going higher, I think I would look for a bullish momentum up to 400. But it's we're opening within a candle's range. We're not really doing anything crazy. So it's going to be a tricky play today to play anything really, because the markets can flip in a heartbeat. So let's be cautious out there. The Qs actually look, well, not the Qs, but NQ looks a lot more like a double top retest. So I don't know if you guys have had the chance to look at this, but I mean, oh, whoa, this is awesome. Right? So it's an inside candle yesterday. And then today, the overnight session was also an inside candle. So let's see where we go with this. Let's see where we end up with it and which way we take it. On the hourly, there's just not, see, I hate it when the RSI is in the middle. There's just not a real direction into either way. Like I don't have an edge over here. I don't know which way it's going to go. So in these scenarios, I say we just watch and play the S curve a lot more than to front run the markets and say, oh no, I know the direction, or try to guess the direction. That's what I mean. So let's keep up with the Qs. Let's look at the Qs actually. This was NQ in the futures department. Let's keep up with the Qs. Exactly like the SPY. I think it would be devastating if we take this guy out, right? I mean, that's a pretty well-known fact. I think if we take this cluster out altogether, it's going to be devastating. Do I think that's going to happen today? I doubt it. I don't know. I think it's one of those, I truly can't tell you if it's going to happen today or not. I don't think we're going to, go down another 5 points today and more. on the cues. I don't know if there are any significant events happening, but it's just not, I don't see any weakness or strength in here. That's what I mean. So Tesla's moving on Investor Day. Ooh, let's look at that. I know earlier I was looking at it and it was like 212. What? Yes. Craig, I like this. So to me, I feel like Tesla is in that wave 5 right now. You know, if we were to think of this as 0, 1, this cluster somewhere at 2, 3, and then a 4 and a 5 right now. I do think it's a bit extended, but it is moving. Let's see what it does at open. Let's look at the 4 hours real quick. Okay, so the bear me wants to fight this, but then the bull me wants to take this bullish. So I do think it can go higher. There isn't much along the way. The only problem is that it's extended. So I would say somewhere along 225 is the next spot for Tesla to kind of sort of slow down. It's, you know, it had all this resistance to support down below and resistance on the top. And it looks like we're trying at least. So let's see if we can take a bull trade or a bear trade in Tesla. I think it'd be interesting to see which way we go today on it. Jay Linder says, Mexico president says, spoke to Elon Musk 2 times. Tesla will install a plant in Mexico. Ooh, okay, cool. So yeah, let's see how that goes. Tesla wanted to, launch in India, and they wanted to produce their cars in China. Well, majority of the production would happen in China, and then they would come to India. And the Indian prime minister refused that, I think. So that's why Tesla wasn't a big thing in India, but I think they'll make that happen too. Anywhere you have that population win, I think you're golden. For example, remember when Disney introduced themselves to India in their live streaming program. Disney was soaring at that time because their membership, the numbers would go up all the time. So yeah, I see Cindy raised her hand. Cindy, can I help you with anything? Do you have a specific question? Feel free to type it in on the channel. Let's look at Meta. So this thing, I've been watching Meta for quite a while. We've slowed down on, here's daily. We've slowed down on our roll down. I would want Meta to do something like Shopify. I would want it to just be like a quick drop, gap fill, and then continue higher. This is just dilly-dallying. So I do think Meta is just going to sideways dance for a little bit and then maybe roll over. This gap fill is inevitable. We're going to go fill that gap. And when that gap fills, I think I might look to add some to my long-term position. As far as day trading is concerned, I don't see an edge here either. I think majority of the candles today are going to be an inside candle. Let's look at Apple. Ooh, big boss. Apple is gapping down. What's going on here? Check this out. All right, let's look at that. Chuck says the prime minister has that kind of power. Yeah, he does. I mean, that's what I've read about so far. But yeah, he said we're going to charge you a higher import cost if you don't produce all of your things in India. That's what the deal was. And then Tesla backed out for whatever reason. So yeah. Okay, cool. Apple, we have an edge. Okay, we're taking out this green candle. Let's plan this out the right way. Let's see. I'm just going to put fibs on it and find a good entry. I want to try to sell Apple as high as possible. Even though this is a gap and go, I would have loved it if it was a gap and go with a little bit more body. This just means a tiny bit of bulls are trapped, not all the bulls. So let's keep an eye on this guy. I do think a retracement of 147.84 should happen. Let's put an alert over here. Um, 147.80. We'll put 85 and we'll do crossing up and then see which way Apple wants to go from there. If it gets rejected here, I think it's a great short. So if it gives me a 10 EMA here, I think I'll take it to the downside. And yeah, Apple's got room to go down for sure. So let's keep an eye on Apple. It's clear, guys. It broke out of this trend line. We're kind of sort of clustering here right now, and then we roll over. So let's keep an eye on this guy right now. 200 SMAs right there. Ooh, let's look at that. Oh, hold on. Let's just, thank you, Jason. 200 SMA on the daily. Okay. All right. So then we might not want to, thank you, Jason. We might not want to jump in right away at the 786 level. Let's watch this guy. It bounced. It looked like it bounced off yesterday off of this level. You know, it'd be amazing if it opens below the 200 SMA. I will leave the SMAs on when I come back to Apple and watch it for sure. But yes, that is a very strong support, you guys. So we don't want to front run that and kind of sort of go short right ahead of that. So let's watch this. It's a gap and go that I'm not really like. I love a gap and go when it gaps below this candle. If it gaps below, let's say today's candle, not very many bulls are trapped. No one's really feeling the pain. I mean, 10% people might feel the pain and they might cause a trickle down effect in the morning, but not very many people. So we want a lot of people to just panic. Here is a good example. You know, not a very big candle, but a lot of people did panic on that. So let's keep an eye on Apple. Lucian says I'm looking for a fade on Apple. Okay, cool. AMAT and Twilio. Let's look at those. We haven't looked at AMAT in a while. It's been a hot minute. Oh, look at this gap up. What's going on here? I like this this gap up above resistance. I do think so. If you're going to play this, Al, there are two ways this is going to happen. I love this bear volume and I like where this is opening. Okay. So you're either going to have to play this pre-market and ride it up and get out really, really quickly, or B, you're going to have to wait for the retracement to come in. This is going to happen really quickly on the 1 minute chart if you want to catch it. So here's how I would plan it on the 1 minute chart. If we start seeing, as soon as market opens, if we have one bear candle on the 1 minute chart, let me just make sure there's nothing on the weekly. Oh yeah, it's gapping above this weekly. Inverse head and shoulders. Yeah, if we have one bear candle on the 1 minute chart, put your entry above that candle and your stop a little bit below. Let's look at it on the pre-market. Where is the support resistance? Okay, so there's not a real place aside from here to put your stop, which is a really low kind of stop. But there, I mean, you know, as far as I can see it, pre-market doesn't really give you an idea. But as far as I can see it, this is a lot of, you know, a couple of bears trapped. Not a lot, but majority of the bears here, you know, big volume bears are trapped. So I think this can go take off in a good direction, especially if Tesla and the rest of the markets take off in a good direction. I think this can take off. So let's try to buy as low as possible and sell as high as possible. So let's try to buy somewhere down here if the 1 minute candle isn't bearish. If the 1 minute candle at 9:30 is like a super green big candle, leave it alone. Don't worry about it. I think, you know, the move was for you to be in the pre-market mess. But if the 1 minute candle is bearish, take an entry above that and get out quickly. That would be a cool idea. Cool scalp more like, but that's how I like to play gap and goes. I don't like to stay in them too long. So I don't want to see this, then this come back down when it gaps up $6, $7, if you know what I mean. So, all right, let's go look at Twilio before we waste way too much time. Same exact thing. You know, a lot of companies have very interesting chart formation right now. It either looks like they're basing or it looks like they are trying to, you know, they're trying to consolidate. Like I'll show you another example of that. Give me one more second. Let's look at the SMA some more here. All right, Twilio is in this mess right now, but it's got room to go up. It is a gap and go. Same exact thing. I like the other gap and go a lot more than this one, honestly, because it's just a small red candle, you know, versus like a big red candle. So I think what happened is a lot of bulls were profitable prior to earnings. Like you could see here, the volume is really, really high for the bulls, right? There's not that many bears involved. I mean, if you just run your eyes along, it's a bunch of greens versus a bunch of red. So a lot of bulls were profitable with this gap up. They kind of just got out of their position. This was just profit taking, in my opinion. And today's gap up, I think, is not going to be as devastating as the one on AMAT. I think I like that one a little bit more. So, I mean, sure, you could write it up to 71.50. I think that's a possibility, but I like the other one a little tiny bit better. This is basing though, you know, it's consolidating. I don't know if it's going to go make another low, but it's consolidating for sure. Speaking of consolidation, let's look at Shopify. So you know, a lot of these tickers are doing the inverse head and shoulders or screaming for a run up. Type in a one if you guys can hear me. I don't see my microphone moving, so just want to make sure you guys can hear me okay. Okay, cool. Awesome. Okay. So yeah, a lot of these things are consolidating right now. And I feel like maybe starting, you know, adding a few shares here and there, bare basic positions. Okay. I'm not talking like, oh, we're going to buy the town and paint the town green, but maybe adding a few shares here and there wouldn't be such a bad deal. We looked at Tesla. So here's Shop. I am looking for a retracement of Shopify. So if we can get going today, I think it'd be really nice. If this thing could just stop gapping down all the times. It's just had a very big drop. And then it's looking for that retracement. I think it'll be fun to play it bullish if it wants to go. It's just weak. It just keeps gapping down all the times. Tesla, we looked at, it's at 210 right now. Let's look at the hourly on Tesla real quick. This isn't very encouraging on the hourly. I don't like it when the RSI is super high. Last time that happened was here. Not that it can't continue to go higher, right? It can continue to go higher. I just don't like playing it. I mean, my odds are a little bit decreased when the RSI is high. I like that we're opening above this mess, but we'll see if it holds and sustains. If it gives us a 10 EMA, we'll take it, even if it's in the bullish direction. I will not be afraid of bull trades today. So let's see how that goes. Let's see AMD. AMD has been a little bit more weaker than the rest of the market and NVIDIA for that matter. So let's see if we can get a trade on AMD today. This is the 200, we're gapping below it and it's a retest gap. So let's see where we can go. I think a 10 EMA here, I like AMD a lot more than Tesla. Okay, I want to find a 10 EMA over here, especially if it's in the bear direction. I think I'd like it a little bit more. So let's keep an eye on AMD. I'm not going to be trading Meta specifically today. Let's look at Microsoft. Microsoft, a lot more red. I think this was that push up with the ChatGPT, I think, event, and a lot more red. But it's just got so much stuff here, the moving averages. I don't want to mess with it today. Doesn't look very hopeful. It doesn't look very bullish to me. Not saying we can't get that retracement up, but I think it's just going to do something like this eventually. So I like Microsoft for bear plays a lot more than bull plays right now. Comments. Okay, cool. Let's look at Baba. Oh, this monster, man. I got out. My target was 90 and I got out at 90. So there we go. And then now so I got in on this 10 EMA, I think, this 10 EMA. And it was a $10 target. Got there pretty quickly. It just breaks my heart when you get into a trade and it goes to target and then it continues to drop further. It's like mocking you, staring you in the face, going, we could have been a lot lower. So NVIDIA. So this guy is definitely, I mean, if you think it's not extended, it truly is. So this dude, I am not looking for honestly, I'm not looking for a bull trade, not because I have bearish bias to it. I just feel like it's extended to the bull side a little too much. It needs to pull back. It's doing what Meta is doing right now, needs to pull back, come fill the gap. So this is the kind of play that I'm looking for. I want to swing trade this if it gives me a good fill. Now, I am not swing trading this at this level right away. So I'm not getting filled. I don't have an order. I am waiting for this to drop, come back up, and then give me a fill. That's what I'm doing. So, don't set your alert levels. Don't set your entries right here just as a blind entry, because this could very well just double bottom, adjust the RSI, and go higher. So I wanted to drop and then retest the neckline. That's what I want to do. So, yeah, but I think NVIDIA could pull back all the way down. It is a little bit extended on the weekly. NVIDIA is the only one that stood by the inverse head and shoulders. Remember, we were looking at this, guys, earlier, and I was like, this is a pretty big breakout. So NVIDIA is breaking out right now, and it's doing phenomenal things. I do think a pullback down to the weekly 10 EMA is valid, and then it can continue higher. So that's where my swing trade comes in. Let's see if it fails me or if it does anything good. Google yesterday was not very strong, friends. I mean, I don't know what's going on. So there is this war between Google and Microsoft right now over ChatGPT, but it's weak. It's really not looking good. Let's see where Google wants to go today. I mean, it's Google. Lots of upper wicks on NVIDIA. Yeah, lots of upper wicks on NVIDIA. I feel like it's gonna pull back, fill that gap, go to our good level of the weekly 10 EMA, and then continue to go higher. And I'm not opposed to NVIDIA going higher. I just want to get that swing trade in. So yeah, we'll see. Let's move Google up a little bit. We'll move it a tiny bit below Tesla. Let's look at the hourly. Yeah, there's not much on the hourly either. It's trying to form a base. It's cute, but it's really not working out for Google right now. So let's see if we can take this level out and roll over. I think that would be cute. Let's see if that happens. If not, then we'll look for bull trades. But I think Google bearish is definitely the way to go. It's weak compared to the rest of the markets. And so we're just spotting that weakness right now. If we open below 89.70, I want to say we should, it's already there. Okay, cool. We should look for those bear trades, because everybody that was hopeful that this thing is going to S-curve on up now is not as hopeful. And so they're going to get out of their positions here. So let's see where it opens. Let's see what it wants to do, and we will check it out. Chuck says, did you look at Amazon? No, Chuck, not yet. Let's look at the Zonian. Who calls it the Zonian? Is it Johnny or Jeremy? Or Dan? I forget. Okay. Amazon on the daily is at that interesting spot. Okay. I mean, I'm not saying we're bullish by any means. There's this beautiful head and shoulders on Amazon right now. When we closed below this candle, I lost all of my bullish sentiment. When we were opening at 110, I had so much FOMO, you guys, you have no idea. I was freaking out. I thought the bottom was in, and I have not bought any shares. I don't know. I was on the mic that day, and I don't know if you remember me complaining about it. I was like, I don't think I've bought the any shares or added any investments. And then immediately, and if I feel like that, I mean, I've been trading for a while, and I can look at charts and, kind of sort of deflect FOMO a little bit. If I feel like that, imagine the FOMO levels over here on that day. and then we just continue to go down. So Amazon should not have taken this guy out. And then when we took this guy out, I was like, yeah, we're going short. There's no way this is going to come back to 110 immediately. So with that opinion, I do think, so today is also another interesting candle on Amazon. It's kind of sort of looking like it's going to open as an inside candle, but what we're going to do is just put pre-market lines. If you remember that day trading strategy, let's put pre-market lines and see where we go from there. Right? Because, it's got to hold the pre-market bottom or the pre-market top. It has to break out for it to go bullish. So let's put lines over here and see if it holds this level. 93.15 is the level that I'd be watching for. If Amazon breaks it, I think we're going to go lower today. So yeah, Chuck says, I hear you. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the FOMO is real up there. It felt like it was going to take off. And Amazon's one ticker I don't want to miss out on. I genuinely, I want to have a stake in it. So I'm starting to build a little bit, little by little. But I do think I want to add more shares somewhere down here at 90 and then a little bit more down here at 82. So I'm not adding a whole bunch, but if I'm swing trading, then that's what I would plan. Netflix, you guys, this thing, if you traded this, so I did this bear call spread with Lucian on Netflix, and I had been screaming on top of my lungs in Slack. And me screaming kind of sort of means me just slightly alerting you versus me screaming on top of my lungs. That meaning doesn't really stand true because I am genuinely a screamer. But I was screaming on top of my lungs in Slack. I said, this is looking bearish, you guys. Let's short this. So I did attempt it at this level when the first Head and Shoulders happened on the hourly chart somewhere over here. So I did attempt it. No, somewhere over here. And then it stopped me out over here, which made me so mad. You have no idea. Really, really mad. Then I attempted it again over here. And I think I got out for a little tiny gain. But then the top was in. I mean, it just looked like the top was in. So then on this day, I did a bear call spread on Netflix. We should not have taken this hammer out. We shouldn't have broken down on this trend line. So there we go. On this day, I did a bear call spread. I closed it out day before, and there we go. Third time's a charm. I know. Yes, but it is bearish. Great. I'm not shorting it right now. I think we've missed that move. But if you look at the hourly, I'll turn off the extended trading hours and let's look at the hourly. I mean, okay. Look how many times it had the Head and Shoulders. So the first time, this was the Head and Shoulders that I was looking at. And I was like, oh, it's not going higher. Then it did go higher. This is another Head and Shoulders. This is another Head and Shoulders. And then this whole formation is a Head and Shoulders in itself. So, I mean, seriously, it was bearish. It just wasn't getting bought up. So anyway, all right, guys, it is time for me to sign off from YouTube. I love you guys. Give us a thumbs up, like, subscribe if you haven't already done so. Let's check out the markets, play wisely. Good luck trading out there.